Welcome in, everybody, to This Is The Shoot. I'm your boy. I'm here. As always, if you like the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. Now, I got a question to just throw this out there to everybody. Have you guys noticed a difference in what they're doing on commentary on AEW? For the past couple of weeks, they've been having Taz do the opening segments or the opening of the show on commentary on Dynamite for about an hour. And then they bring out Jim Ross. They do it on TV. They play his music. He waves to the fans. It really kind of helps make this big fight feel. Here's what Jim Ross had to say about it, however. That was Tony Khan's decision. Creatively, I was coming out before the show, doing all of Dynamite, JR said of the move. The reception was humbling. Fans were glad to see me and they expressed themselves. The reception I was getting was really good. He thought the middle of the show, Dynamite needed a boost, so JR became the booster. I come out in the middle of the show, still going to call the main events. Do you realize that AEW has 9 commentators? You have Taz, you have Paul Wright, you have William Regal, who guest commentates when the Blackpool Combat Club is wrestling. You have Chris Jericho on AEW Rampage. You have Ricky Starks on AEW Rampage. You have Mark Henry for AEW Dark, which that's what Paul Wright does, is Dark. You got Jim Ross, you got Tony Schiavone, and you got Excalibur. 9 commentators. Now, I understand what Tony Khan is doing with Jim Ross. And there are people who want to see Jim Ross. Me being one of them. Is it a necessity? No. Do I necessarily need to see Jim Ross for me to tune in to watch AEW Dynamite? No. Do I believe that it does boost the ratings? Well, it has to, otherwise Tony would not do it. And this kind of goes to show that the ratings still do matter, ladies and gentlemen. I know there's certain fans from AEW and WWE that seem to just think that the ratings do not matter. They do. Maybe they're not as important as they once was, but they still do matter. This has really got me brainstorming. I'm not complaining about this at all. This has nothing to do with me complaining. This is just me brainstorming. With 9 people that can do commentary at your disposal, okay? And you could do a lot of things with them with the talent that which you have. Now, this is just an idea that I have. This is not saying that this is the best idea, but I think it would be interesting. What if they would break up the commentary and kind of rotate them out week to week? Well, one team would do Dynamite, one team would do Rampage, and one team does Dark, and then it rotates from there. Example would be you have Taz and Chris Jericho with Jim Ross, and you have Taz do the backstage interviews like Tony Schiavone does most times on Dynamite. Then you can have another team of Paul White, Mark Henry, and Excalibur. Well, or Tony Schiavone even, where you could have Henry do backstage interviews, or if you put Tony on that team, I guess you could alternate between Tony and Mark. But I really broke it down where you have a guy that goes back and does what Tony Schiavone does, and then you can have like William Regal and a Ricky Starks along with Tony Schiavone, where Tony Schiavone does the backstage, where you have a William Regal there that can talk to Ricky Starks and kind of give him advice when they're off air, or kind of drop tidbits in there. Like I said, it's just a rotation where you can have like Taz Jericho and Jim Ross do Dynamite, Paul Wright, Mark Henry, and Excalibur do Rampage. Then you have Regal, Ricky Starks, and Tony Schiavone do Dark. And then the following week you have Regal, Starks, and Tony Schiavone do Dynamite. I think that'd be a very cool and interesting way to keep fans coming in and tuning in. Just add some randomness to your show. You have that many people at your disposal, Tony Khan. So maybe use them in that aspect. Like I said, this is just a brainstorming This is I am not being criticizing or being critical at all. This is just a brainstorm session. Kind of interested to see what you guys think. If I was going to give any other advices, I'd be careful because Jim Ross, he tends to get a little upset if he does not feel like he's being used correctly. Don't believe me? Go read his newest book, Under the Black Hat. You know, he kind of, when he was starting to get moved out of the limelight, like he's getting pretty upset. But yeah, WCW did sort of the same thing. They had one commentary team do the first hour, then they had another commentary team do the second hour. You can even do a thing like that. Definitely, whatever they would do that, never where they had Mark Henry. Mark Henry has to do that. It's time for the main event. But like I said, this was a short, sweet video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you made it this far, hit that like, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys later.